we have to be forward looking. And the thing that every forecaster, every outside forecaster, and the Fed is saying is that we expect a meaningful amount of inflation to arrive in coming months. And we have to take that into account. So I think a backward looking look would lead you to a neutral stance, but we can't. We have to look at that, and because the economy is still solid, we can take the time to actually see what's going to happen. There's a range of possibilities on how large the inflation effects and the other effects are going to be. So we'll make smarter and better decisions if we just wait a couple of months or however long it takes to get a sense of really what is going to be the pass through of inflation and what's going to be the effects on spending and on hiring and all those things.
McKee.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio and Television. Your friend down at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue continues to lob insults in your direction. And I'm wondering, given now that the Supreme Court has maybe carved out the Fed from some of the legal implications of that, whether this is just noise that the markets and everybody should ignore until your term is up, or whether you worry that it could lead to more pressure on confidence on Wall Street, on consumers about the outlook for the economy.
Okay. From my standpoint, it's not complicated. What everyone on the FOMC wants is a good, solid American economy with strong labor market and price stability. That's what we want. We think our policy is well positioned right now to deliver that and to be able to respond in a timely way as the data lead us around. The economy's been resilient, and part of that is our stance. And again, we think we're in a good place on that to respond to significant economic developments. That's what matters. That is what matters to us. Pretty much that's all that matters to us.
I need to ask, assuming you are not reappointed, would you stay on as governor when your term as chair ends?
I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about this.
Andrew.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I guess with workplace raids picking up significantly, what kind of effect would that have on the labor market?
Sorry, what picking up?
Workplace raids.
So you're asking immigration?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to speculate. One way to get at that from an economic standpoint, we of course don't comment on immigration policy. It's not ours to make or comment on. But what you see is an unemployment rate that has been really solid and at a low level, not really increasing. It's been in a good range and well within the range of mainstream estimates of maximum employment. And that means like part of that is that labor demand and labor supply are kind of moving down at the same rate. Labor demand is softening. You see that in job creation, but it's still kind of at a healthy level. And labor supply is diminishing because the immigration numbers that we see are much lower than they were. So those two factors, supply and demand, that's what has kept the unemployment rate in a reasonably stable place.
Okay, thanks. The other thing I wanted to follow up on is if you could elaborate on the potential changes to the SEP that you suggested were part of the framework review, I think.
So the framework review really has two tracks, right? The first track is our policy framework that is reflected in the consensus statement. And we've said that we would finish that and announce it by the end of the summer. So we're well along in that process. We've had the meetings that we need to have, and we're now going to be going into discussions about specific changes to language. So that's the framework part of it. The second part of it is our communications tools and practices. Pardon me. And that part comes next. Okay, that's what we're going to do in the meetings this fall. Actually, what we did at this meeting, though, is we sort of prepared the ground for that. We had a meeting where we talked at a high level about a number of ideas. The SEP is part of it. Many other ideas. It's sort of how do we think our communications can be improved? There are a number of ideas. People offered a really it was a great conversation, number of ideas, but we're going to look at those with staff briefing and a lot of thought in the fall. And I would say when it comes to changing communications, I would only support things really only implement things that have very broad support. And also you want to be really careful because I think our communications are pretty well received. They're not broken. So more is not necessarily better, but better is better. So we're going to be looking at ways to do things that will improve the clarity of what we do for the benefit of the public.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete.
Still the what if of tariffs. So what made you feel comfortable cutting then when inflation was higher than where it is today and you didn't cut today?
Well, the forecast for inflation in December was 2.5. Core PCE for 2025. The forecast was 2.5%, which is a good inflation forecast. I think what we've learned is that, and this was long before we had any idea of what the actual policies would be. We've learned that tariffs are going to be substantially larger than forecasters generally thought. And, we don't, our forecasts are generally not particularly different from those of other, well-resourced forecasting operations. So what we learned, and particularly in April, was that very substantially larger tariffs were coming and that would mean inflation. That's what happened. And so now you saw 2.5% forecast in December, you saw 2.8% in March, and you see 3.1% now. So it's 0.6 higher inflation for 2025. And that's a big part of the change. And that's due to the effects of the tariffs that are, we don't know where they're going to land, but it's pretty apparent they're going to land higher than outside forecasters were really guessing at the end of last year.
My follow-up to that, I think consumers, right, we're looking for relief on rates when it comes to mortgages, car loans. Small businesses want to take out more manageable loans. When you look at the cumulative inflation over the past 5 years, prices have risen over 20%. It's been a rough road. So what is the tipping point then for the wait and see approach in terms of how much it's going to help versus when it hurts the American consumer?
Well, I mean, we're trying to restore price. The best thing we can do for the public that we serve is restore price stability. If we can, and we will, restore price stability, meaning 2% inflation on a durable, sustainable basis, that, and also maximum employment. If we restore those things, that's the best thing, and that is our goal. The best thing we can do for the American people, for households and businesses, that is the ultimate thing that we can deliver. And they can make their decisions without having to think about inflation all the time. So in the meantime, we have to keep rates high to get inflation all the way down. They're not very high. Let's be honest. I would say policy is modestly or moderately, probably modestly now restrictive. If you look at the economy, it's not performing as though we're performing under very strict monetary policy, very restrictive monetary policy. So I would say probably modestly restrictive. And so what it will take is confidence that inflation is coming down. Now, I would say without tariffs, that confidence would be building, because if you see what's happening with non-housing services and housing services, which are the other two big pieces other than goods, those are coming down really nicely now. So I think we have to learn a little more about tariffs. I don't know what the right way for us to react will be. I think it's hard to know with any confidence how we should react until we see really the size of the effects, and then we can start to make a better judgment. So that's what we're doing, and I think we can take the time to do that because unemployment is 4.2%. Wages are moving up. Real wages are moving up at a healthy clip now, and inflation is 2.3% headline inflation over a 12-month basis. So it's a good economy and a solid economy with decent growth.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto. Definitely appreciate y'all for taking the time to be on today's show, episode number 285. Unfortunately, I'm having difficulties with my camera, but I did not want to still not have today's show because no matter what, because it is crypto week, right? It's a huge week ahead. And, I definitely would love to have my camera on right now so y'all can see my face and my smile and, how excited I am about this space. But neither here nor there, this show must continue to go on. So I just ask that you all please let's take the time to go over to our Discord group, share this link out, send this link to your friends, your family. I know that this is a 10 a.m. call. It is early. Most people are at work, traveling to work. So we are grateful for the viewers that we do have live. And we're also grateful for all of you all that check out our show after we are, finally finished, and you check out the recording on our YouTube channel. If you don't mind, please smash the thumbs up button at any point that you decide that you like today's episode. You know what I mean? There may be at different points, you may find more value in today's show than other points, okay? What we just watched was a live talk that's happening right now with Jerome Powell. It's a huge thing that's happening right now in our world, right? Is Jerome Powell, he's actually in talks of actually being of stepping down, right? So we may have a new Federal Reserve chair at any point. This thing could actually come into fruition, which could be bullish for Bitcoin. It could be bullish for lowering interest rates, different things like that. So we just have to kind of be patient, right? Everything in this space is all about patience. And, whether you choose, and this is the honest truth, whether you choose to be patient or you don't choose to be patient, either way, the same result is going to happen, right? It was already written. That's one thing that we have to realize, is that it was already written, right? So whatever you think, listen, y'all, it was already written. So with that being said, I am, currently watching the Bitcoin chart. I drew in these green levels right here, 1, 2, and 3. I drew these in last night as I was looking at these charts. I think yesterday on our Sip and Learn, if you all were on there, I did show you all that Bitcoin was in this zone. And I told you all I was waiting for either a breakout to the bottom or the top. I drew this zone out. It was on the chart, right? And what happened, y'all? This thing dropped down. And last night I was able to catch this trade from here down into this area right here. And now we're pulling back up, which I believe will probably retest somewhere at the bottom of this zone potentially, right? But you have to also go to the daily and take a look at this daily candle, because the daily candle did push down and now it's kind of pushing back up. So, Bitcoin may not be ready to go back down just yet, or maybe it is, right? Again, we cannot necessarily 1000% predict the future, but one thing we can do is we can analyze it and we can make a good decision for us. Okay, so by me looking at this particular chart, I would like to see Bitcoin, and this is just me, I'd like to see it make up some of this space down here. So I'd like to see it come back down into the 115, the 113, and deeply into the 111 area is kind of what I'm looking at on my technicals. For those people out there that are into technicals, I want to make sure that I drop some technicals for you today, because this is going to be a huge, the next couple of weeks is going to be big trading weeks. There's going to be a lot of opportunity in the markets. And I think that everybody should take that, just take the chance, man, and learn the skill of day trading. I think that it's extremely important. All right. So for those out there that do trade, we can see the price of Bitcoin. Okay. Really exciting times. We smashed through 111 and it never looked back. It went all the way up to 123. And if I were to draw a fib level, right, from let's
On
just
Orient.
You can order it online, babe.
y'all mind muting out, please. Mute. Thank you. All right. So sheesh. All right. So what was I saying? Okay, so we draw the fib from the bottom to the top. Okay, as you can see, I can't make this stuff up, right? If we drew the fib from this bottom, which is the bottom from this extension out for 111 to the very top, as you will see, we retested the 50% level and then bounced off of that level, made mad wicks. Y'all see that the 50% level is right here in the middle, right? It's this level that's this level right here, right? It retested it as support and then we bounced off and we went back up. So again, okay, levels don't lie. Okay, the levels don't lie. So I just wanted to pull that fib out and just show y'all, exactly where we are. We've already made the 50% pullback of the fib. So honestly, it could continue to just go up. You know what I mean? Because that is the 50% of a big fib. But I do, in my honest opinion, all right, if I pull that fib back up, I do see it coming down to at least the 75, the 0.75, 75% level, which would put us at like 113, which to me, is the top. This would be this resistance level right here, right? And then this would be a level of support, and I could see us jumping off of that level as well. So there's many ways that this could play out. I'm just telling you all to be patient, especially if you're a trader. Be patient, because this market is not your friend. Okay, if you have no experience in trading, there are ways for you to become more experienced. We have a Discord community. We have boot camp, a 6-week boot camp. We have quite a few things that you can get involved in to be able to start learning this skill and making money. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into some video content and things that I have to show. It's definitely some good information, good value that we have to share today. The very first thing, because we were just watching Chairman Powell speak, right? Jerome Powell, Chairman of the Federal Reserve. We watched him speak at the beginning, and I thought that was important to show his live call at this moment because Scott Bessent, okay, is saying that Jerome Powell's replacement process has started. So I'm going to go ahead and play this quick video because this might be extremely bullish for the markets being reshaped. Interest rates may be turning in our favor in the future of Bitcoin. So buckle up. Let me restart this. My apologies. 1 second, y'all. Okay.
There's been plenty of speculation as to whether that process would be brought forward. Mr. Secretary, do you still, as far as you understand, believe that's when the interview process to replace the Fed chair will begin in the fall, or has a formal process already started?
Well, look, there's a formal process that's already starting. There are a lot of great candidates, and we'll see how rapidly it progresses. It's President Trump's decision, and it will move at his speed.
Do you see any merit at all in selecting maybe a candidate that's already on the committee on the FOMC versus taking a look at someone outside of the Federal Reserve?
Again, there are a lot of good candidates inside and outside the Federal Reserve, Jonathan.
Has the chairman himself, the Fed Chair Jay Powell, given you any indication whatsoever as to what he would do once his term has expired? Will he vacate his seat as the governor at the Federal Reserve?
Well, traditionally, the Fed chair also steps down as a governor, and there's been a lot of talk of a shadow Fed chair causing confusion in advance of his or her nomination. And I can tell you, I think it'd be very confusing for the market for a former Fed chair to stay on also.
All right. So there you have it, folks. It's looking like we're about to get a new Federal Reserve chair, which makes sense. I mean, he's been the Fed chair for years, under the Biden administration. And, now that Trump is there, typically, he definitely is probably getting ready to make his way out of here. Okay. And so with him making his way out of here, I do believe that in this bull run, family, and I'm just being honest, but in this bull run, there's going to be a lot of new millionaires created. And this video, I couldn't have said it any better. And I really did like the way that this gentleman put this down. I'm not sure who he is, but I definitely will say that he's definitely a very bright man. And, he's in my opinion, he's thinking about this thing in the right way. So I'm gonna play this quick clip.
For those of you that are XRP holders, Ripple, XRP, XLM, HBAR, do not sell your product. Do not sell your units. Hold a minimum of 10,000 units on a cold storage inside of an irrevocable private trust. That qualifies you to be able to become a private banker. We teach this process. You'll be grandfathered into the new system. That way, you don't sell, you leverage, collateralize, and put everything on the blockchain. You tokenize all your assets, your resources, your homes, your business, everything gets tokenized. This way, you never have to sell. And if you don't sell, you're constantly growing. For the young guys out there and the young girls, these new crypto millionaires, do not sell. Selling is the worst possible thing you can do with an XRP, and here's why. There are two sides to this game. There are the deep state side, BIS, Bank of International Settlements, along with all the rest of the private central banks. And then there's our side, the private central bank that's standing up for the people. And we know how to play this game. We've been working on it now for a long time. If you sell your XRP when the price bumps, you're going to cause a problem. The moment that you sell, you're putting those XRPs back into that open market, and the other side are going to get them. They're going to scoop them up. That's how the game is going to be played. You leverage that shit. You do not sell it. If you give them control over that XRP, over the Ripple network, you've lost the game completely. If you hold it and play the game like we do, you have a chance at freeing all of the people around the world from the debt slavery system. I can promise you that.
All right.
But over the next coming weeks, you will see many people become millionaires overnight.
Hello.
Be prepared for the transfer. But for those of you that need proper education, come check us out. Come see us. We'll explain this process to you because you need an education on how the financial system actually works on the international level, not this bullshit, just FX trading. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes with Ripple and XRP than most of you are even aware.
Come on.
Over the next couple of weeks, there's going to be thousands of new millionaires created, and they are going to panic. They're going to get excited, and they're going to start dumping their XRP, and they're all going to think that they're rich and super young punks buying a bunch of toys, and then they're going to end up with taxable events with houses and cars, and that's where they get you because you don't know how to play the game properly.
Wow. I don't know about y'all, but that was a good one. That was a good wake-up call. And, you know, we got to really get our stuff to in all the way in order, y'all. Cold storage is old school now. You know, there's a lot more to this that doesn't meet the eye, right? And I just wanted to play that video clip because I felt the same way. You know, I've been saying that there's about to be a lot of people in our group, like, and I know who you are, that are about to be in the next few weeks up six figures. There's a lot of you that's about to be up like six figures. It's a whole lot of y'all about to be up 5 figures. And there's a couple of you that are going to be millionaires in coffee and crypto. Okay. And I'm really excited to start celebrating more of our millionaires. You know, we've already created 3 documented. We have 3 documented millionaires out of the 1,000 that we're going to create. And it's still extremely early. So, you know, take that for, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, so why don't you want to sell your XRP? Well, I got a couple of things to talk about today as to why you don't want to sell your XRP and why ISO 20022 is now live in the United States and XRP and Ripple is sitting at the forefront of this new, a policy or whatever is going on, right? So first off, this is from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, right? This is a corporate application search result details. And I'm sure they searched, whatever they was looking for, this particular charter number. And this is for a new bank charter, right? And it's under Ripple National Trust Bank, right? So yes, Ripple has applied to become a bank just in time for everything else to start to unfold. So as of yesterday, July 14th, there's a couple of things that happened. First off, the Board of Governors at the Federal Reserve, they did a joint press release, and it's entitled Agencies Issue Joint Statement on Risk Management Considerations for Crypto Asset Safekeeping. And this is in collaboration with the FDIC, the Federal Reserve Board, and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, which is the same thing we just looked at, this application for Ripple's charter bank. Now, let's listen to what they're talking about. Federal bank regulatory agencies today issued a joint statement in their continued efforts to provide clarity on banks' engagement in crypto asset related activities. The statement highlights for banks potential risk management considerations related to holding crypto assets on their customers' behalf or crypto asset safekeeping. Right? It's getting crazy. The joint statement discusses existing risk management principles that apply to crypto asset safekeeping, right? And reminds banks that provide or are considering providing safekeeping of such assets that they must do so in safe and sound manner and in compliance with applicable law and regulations. So a couple of things that, if you all don't know, let me just show y'all two things. So I'm going to type in Ripple and Medico, okay? And in another tab, I'm going to type in Ripple, okay, and Hidden Road. Okay, and I want to show you all how Ripple has made their way, right? They've made their way, y'all, into becoming a bank, right? So this is right here. This happened April 8th, right? Not long ago. Ripple agrees to acquire prime broker Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, right? This acquisition allows Ripple to control key transaction rails and route them through XRP and its stablecoin RLUSD. Okay, it's going to allow for bridging TradeFi and DeFi, RLUSD as collateral. Okay, all types of stuff, y'all. So this is huge, right? This is like really, really, really big news. And Hidden Road has a strong business clearing $3 trillion annually, y'all, across markets with more than 300 top institutional customers. So with them purchasing this company, this was a huge strategic play. And then before that, in May of 2023, they acquired Medico, which was a digital asset custody provider. So not only do you have the clients now through Hidden Road with their trillions of dollars, but you also have the custody solution. And this right here is super important because banks, they're gonna need custody providers. Ripple has their own custodian now. If you look right here, that was what we're talking about, right? They're talking about considering providing safekeeping of such assets. So that's custody, right? So that's what we're looking at right now. You can click this. Go get the actual PDF. What I'm gonna do right now for my Discord group is I will go ahead over here real quick for y'all, and I'm going to drop it in the We Got the Receipt section of our Discord group, so y'all have that. But just go over this and just read it. It's nothing wrong with reading. Nothing wrong with reading this and making sure that you have an understanding of what's going on. But yeah, this is huge news. Okay, this is really big, and I hope that you all are able to go through this documentation and get everything that you need. Now, the next thing is not only did that happen, but on July 14th, right, 2025, July 14th, family, we had yesterday was the first day that banks are now live with ISO 20022 in the United States. It was a single day implementation, and and now it's over with. It has happened. So it's not even a question as to when it's going to happen, but now it has happened, which is another milestone for our investment journey, family. So here are the top ISO compatible tokens, right? and the roles in their real world finance. So you have XRP, XLM, XDC, Algorand, IOTA, Quant, and HBAR. When people say, hey, Vincent, what should I invest into? I tell them to take a look at this list right here, because this is a very strong list of things that you can invest into. You know, Ripple and Stellar and Algorand, these XDC, these are huge projects that are, you know, most of them are in the top. I believe they're all in the top 100. So all of these are top 100 tokens, which is also super dope as well, because when this altcoin season actually takes off, right, we're going to see some benefit from this. So I just want to say congratulations to all my ISO investors out there. And if you're interested in getting more in depth and more invested into the space, you know, we can definitely help you. And you know, we'll have some announcements here coming up at the end of the call. Okay. Next slide that we have for this morning talks about, because we were just talking about the ISO tokens, right? And we were talking about it was like a list of 6 of them. Well, here's an update of one of them with Hedera, because I want to just throw Hedera in there, even though we haven't been talking about Hedera today. I still want to throw them in there because, you know, Hedera is working with some giants right now in the AI space. And right now, one of the biggest things I've heard all over the space when it comes to interviews of different people in the crypto space is people are trying to build the trust layer, right, of Web3, the blockchain. They need the trust layer. Well, Hedera is nicknamed the trust layer of the blockchain. And after this video, maybe you have a better understanding as to why.
As artificial intelligence continues to cement itself as a core part of the emerging digital economy, the lack of transparency in how AI models are trained, developed, and deployed presents significant risks, not only to enterprises, but to society as a whole. In order to address this critical challenge, Equity Lab, in collaboration with industry titans NVIDIA and Intel, has developed Verifiable Compute, the first hardware-based solution to govern and audit AI workflows using the blockchain. Verifiable Compute introduces a cryptographic AI notary system that creates tamper-proof records of every data object and code computed during AI processes. This hardware-based approach ensures explainability, accountability, and security at runtime. The foundational trust layer of this solution is Hedera, creating a trusted, immutable ledger of AI computations. Every operation performed on compatible Intel CPUs and NVIDIA GPUs is recorded with precise timestamping, enabling auditable trails and smart contract orchestration across AI protocols. As AI integration deepens across finance, healthcare, media, and public sectors, this solution will establish new standards for transparent, verifiable AI systems, bringing unprecedented trust to our increasingly AI-driven world.
Shout out to Hedera. So, wanted to go ahead and drop this bombshell on y'all. Getting back over to XRP. Y'all already see what's at the top of this, right? US, SEC, and you know, the SEC, right? So you know that this has to be something big. Okay, this was filed on April 15th of 2025. And what this was the ProShares Trust, right? So this is from ProShares for what? What exactly from ProShares? What is it that they're filing for, right? Well, this is a registration statement. Let's see here. I already know what it is, but I'm just trying to find it. So this is basically for their XRP ETF, long story short. Okay, this was their application to the SEC for that. Okay, now I wanted to show y'all something as to how close we are. So if you scroll down this document, take a look right here, y'all. Okay, take a look right here. It says the post-effective amendment to the registration statement is filed pursuant to this for the sole purpose of designating April 30th, 2025 as the new effective date for post-effective amendment number 323 to the registration statement filed on January 17th, 2025. Okay, for the ProShares Ultra Short XRP ETF, all of these ETFs that they have right there, right? So that is huge news, right? Another thing that I noticed, y'all, is I looked down here and I was like, man, who signed these documents on April 15th? Who signed all of this into order? So if I go up right here, if you look right here, y'all, number one, you see JP Morgan, you see a couple of different asset managers, you see these guys right here. So this is official document, right? These are things that I look for just to make sure that we have the right stuff. But this basically let me actually go to this post here for y'all. But okay, so the sole purpose of designating July 18th, 2025. So we have 3 days roughly before the first XRP ETF is announced, family. This is really, really big, right? And you got to realize something, y'all, that the rules of investing have been being rewritten, right? Innovating for the future of wealth and financial advice. People, you got to realize that the next generation of investors, we're way more diverse and they are digital first. So as the baby boomers and other generations with our parents and grandparents and things are, starting to transfer over that wealth to us, what do you think we're going to put that money into, right? Well, we're going to be putting that money into digital first investments. So that's a really big thing. So if y'all don't know about ProShares, okay, first off, they have, like I said, they have the XRP ETF. Now, their XRP ETF seeks daily investment results before fees and expenses that correspond to 2 times the daily performance of the Bloomberg XRP index. So this particular index or ETF, these guys have they've set it up where when you invest, you get 2 times the daily performance, right? So it seems like this could be a pretty good ETF option for those out there that's looking looking for that. Now, this is another document that I was able to find from ProShares. Right. From ProShares, I was able to find this. It's dated on July 14th, 2025, which is the same day we've been talking about. Right. And there's 3 different XRP ETFs that they have. They have a short ETF, they have a ultra short, and then they have an ultra XRP ETF. So XRPS, RIPS, and UXRP are the ticker symbols for their 3 different XRP investments. Now, we don't have time to go through this entire document, family, okay, at all. But something that I did want to, I wanted to go and look at real quick. Now this is another document, okay? I just switched over to a whole new document. I done found all the documents on ProShares page based on XRP. And I started reading through this one because it was only 12 pages last night, and that was better for me, right? And I came across this, and I want y'all to see something. And after I show this, I'm pretty much done. I'm done for the day. I don't really have anything else to talk about, but I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm about to say. So it says that the fund will invest principally in the financial instruments listed below. So they're going to invest into derivatives, right? So financial instruments whose value is derived from the value of an underlying asset or rate, such as stock, bond, ETFs, interest rates, or indexes. Okay. The fund invests in derivatives or XRP future contracts in order to gain leverage exposure to the index, right? You also got XRP futures contracts. So not only derivatives, you're going to have those futures contracts. You're going to also have the money market instruments. So the fund expects that any cash balances maintained in connection with this use of derivatives, all right, will typically be held in high quality short-term money market instruments. For example, right? Let's go up here. So here's the examples. U.S. Treasury bills, which we know what that is. And then this is the one right here, y'all, that took me out. Oh, I just want y'all to see this right quick. It says repurchase agreements. Huh? What are y'all talking about? Repurchase agreements as an example. Well, let's read it. These are contracts in which a seller of securities, usually U.S. government securities or other money market instruments, agrees to buy the securities back at a specified time and price. Is this the buyback that they were talking about? Offering us on a certain day at a certain time the highest price that we could get for XRP? How many people are going to sell out at that price? Will they offer the price of $589 since that is the XRP thing? That was already written into the code. $589 for XRP has been written into the code since the beginning of time. So that means, could they push this and offer $589 per token? And my question is, are you going to take them up on their offer? Right? Are you going to take your money and go and take care of your life? Right? Or are you going to keep it and wait until this thing really kick off so you can become a bank? Everybody's going to do it differently. Right? I'm not here to tell y'all what I'm going to do on this show, but if you're a part of our Discord group, and specifically if you're a part of our full year program, which at this point, I just think that everybody should have took a boot camp by now. Like, and if you don't do well in this bull run, you got to remember why, right? You got to think about the things that you skipped out on. Okay. So, and then, yeah, so, you know, it's a lot of stuff, you know, to take a look at, right? But I thought that was pretty interesting, y'all. The fact that they even had something about a repurchase agreement, for XRP within, you know, their that document. So, you know, that's all I had for today. You know, as y'all can see, we've knocked today's call out very quick. You know, I told y'all I wasn't going to be here long today just because I just feel like, you know, it's a very exciting day. It's crypto week right now, y'all, in Washington, D.C. There's a lot of things that, you know, if you were not paying attention to crypto and you know that you need to, then family, this is the time. This is your warning right here, y'all. Y'all heard what they said. The next few weeks, a bunch of millionaires will be created. The question is, will you be one? Will you be a 6-figure earner? Will you be a 5-figure earner? Will you be a 4-figure earner? Or will you still have 3 figures? I don't know. You know what I mean? The choice is yours. But I will tell you all something. All right. Fortune favors the brave, right? And for those that have been brave through this process, that has invested, I just want to say congratulations. Things are about to get really extremely bullish, and you're in the right space at the right time. If there's any questions, concerns, y'all already know y'all can raise your hand if you're live on our Zoom call. And as I'm waiting for anybody that may have anything that they want to share with us, I wanted to make an announcement that, you know, in a week, next Monday, we start on the 21st, we start our next 6-week boot camp. This is the last week that you all can purchase tickets for $1,000. After this week, when we get to Friday, those tickets prices will go up to $2,000 for the 6-week boot camp. You know, is $1,000, okay, is $1,000 worth it? That's the real question. Is $1,000 worth you learning how to do this thing completely? And if your answer is no, that's okay as well. You know what I mean? Like our coaching ain't for everybody, but I will tell you, for the people that have taken it, they've learned so much. And, you know, we have so many results. So many positive results and feedback from our boot camp, that we had to actually turn it into our flagship product. So if there's anybody that needs coaching, help, and you want an organized way over the next 6 weeks so that you don't miss this bull run, and so that you can make more than $1,000, hopefully, in this bull run for yourself, then family, you want to go ahead and lock in with me. All you got to do is text me the word boot camp. Okay, you can text me the word boot camp right now to the phone number 678-460-6504. Again, that number is 678-460-6504. Again, this is the last week that it is $1,000. And just because you all are live on the show today, if you text me well, if you text me today before like noon, if you're watching the show and you text me at 678-460-6504, I will definitely, probably take a little bit extra off of it, just to help you out. I always love doing stuff like that for the people that tune into our YouTube channel, and podcasts. So, Zatrick, go ahead, bro, if you're available.
What's up, my brother? Sorry about earlier, but I wanted to say for anybody that is interested in doing the boot camp, it's definitely worth it because whenever you like take a VO's product, you always, at least I should say, minimum 2x your money. You know what I'm saying? So you spending 1,000, but you could walk away with 2,000. And I've taken master classes, I've taken boot camps, and it's always good to like learn something new because you may think you know it all, but you don't. And that's why you take these boot camps, just to up your game and just take it to the next level. And most importantly, just be early to the game is what I like to call it when I get in these boot camps. But yeah, man, I say if you're anybody's interested in doing it, definitely reach out to the boy.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
definitely appreciate you, bro. Definitely appreciate that. So, y'all, that's it. That's the show for today. Y'all got my phone number. You could text me if you want to, and if not, then I'm gonna be honest. I'll see y'all on the other side of wealth, because it's about to happen. It's not even a game no more, y'all. Congratulations to all investors, to the ones that held, and I hope y'all take that advice that y'all heard, and don't let selling be your best move. That's my that's my that is my that's how I'm gonna leave y'all today. Don't let selling your crypto be your best move in this market. Because if selling your crypto is your best and only move, that's the worst move. The best move that you can make is by taking these assets, distributing them out, earning yields on them, becoming a bank, and really taking your life to the next level. That's what I would recommend. So, that's it. Y'all have an amazing. Oh, my boy JP, Jose.
I wanted to say something.
Oh, what's up, brother? Yo.
Hey, I wanted to say something, man, real quick.
Yeah, take.
Hey, I know, everyone is. I'm sorry, man. I'm driving, so it's the signal is kind of bad. But yeah, I want to say everyone, y'all should join the boot camp because sometimes we know a little bit of information of certain projects, but there's a lot of things that we still don't know. And in order to get that information, of course, it's like everything. We have to invest. I mean, some people would call it pay, but the way I see it is an investment. You got to invest in your knowledge in order to get something back. And this is the way I see coffee and crypto. I'm investing in in something that it's letting me acquire the knowledge to be in the right projects, investing in the right projects.
Right.
So yeah, everyone join. You guys are still early. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of projects that there's projects in Bitcoin. There's projects on a lot of blockchains. So.
Yep. And Jose plugged in. Yeah, Jose's plugged in on the Bitcoin side, y'all. Like Jose really is understanding the Bitcoin ecosystem and the things that he's been teaching me up at the blockchain center and stuff, man, is like priceless, things that I would have never known, things that allows me to, shift my stance on Bitcoin a little bit, right? I shift my stance on Bitcoin just a tad bit, right? I do now, like not saying that, it's definitely not something that I'm just like huge on, but I definitely shifted the stance, right, to that. So, yeah, I appreciate everybody. Y'all can tap in with me. I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all have an amazing day, and I will see y'all on Thursday's episode. And if you're in our Discord group, Sana should be going live tonight for our basic trading call. So